What is up, baby? We are back on Sunday nights where we rightfully belong, and we have a good buddy that has returned to join the show. It is Tidey. Tidey, how the hell are you doing, man?
I'm doing a lot better now, man. I caught up on some stuff. Happy about the PLE. Man, I just miss talking wrestling with you, man. So right now I went from a 9 to a 10. Drip King.
That's what I'm talking about.
Talking 10, with the drippy
10,
drip.
10. That's what I like to see. And then not to be forgotten, we got Albert down below. Albert, how the hell have you been? Man, the yesterday's show was crazy.
Right? Like, how can I be bad? I mean, wrestling is like for the past 2 nights, wrestling has been amazing, and it's so weird to have the come down on a Sunday, But I like it a little bit better. The Saturday pay-per-views and a Saturday afternoon pay-per-view.
Even better.
Do more shows in London, please.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go anywhere in the world and do your shows as long as I get to watch my wrestling during the day. It is.
Oh my God, I loved it.
It is.
So everybody talks about the Saudi shows, and I'm like, I love the Saudi shows. I'm sitting there at work with it on in the background. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever.
I was able to take the kids swimming yesterday night after wrestling. I was like, this is just perfect. This is perfect.
Best setup ever.
There we go. What's that? I forgot to put that up, but there it is. There we go. So let's get these comments out the way. And obviously, Drip King, that's me. I'm here and I'm good to go, baby. I'm happy to be back on Sundays. So we got Courtney in the chat. We got Babe in the chat. Thank you, Babe. Looking good. You is the one that is looking good, though. She says hello to Albert and Tidey as well. And here, I'm going to touch on this real quick just because it is a funny thing and it's kind of part of wrestling at this point. Twitter is being stupid. Here's the thing. I found out why Twitter is being stupid because apparently Elon Musk did not look at the ins and outs of Twitter when he bought it. And June 30th, the contract for Google ran out. So he now no longer has cloud storage for Twitter. So he's limiting things so that data just isn't. And apparently there's like $1 billion bill that's going to be attached to this if he doesn't figure it out. So he's like, he's scrambling. I know before we were talking about like, oh, Twitter might leave, Twitter might be gone, but it's a real possibility this time if what I was reading about this is legit. It's like he doesn't know what he's doing. But that's why Twitter is being.
Has been developing their own version. Yeah. So, there could be Facebook, Instagram, and their own version of Twitter.
I'm not doing that.
Hey, but there's the time where he let a lot of people go if they weren't willing to work hard. Probably let go the guy that was like, hey, there's a bill coming up that makes this shit work.
What do you do here? I give you information. I don't need it. Goodbye.
Important information. All right. Well, what's important is you get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Don't call me in a few months, buddy. That's all I'm going to tell you. But Money in the Bank, that is why we're here, and that is what we are going to talk about. And just before we even get into that, we're just going to go around the room. Tidey, you've seen it from beginning to end. What would you rate Money in the Bank overall?
About a 9.5 out of 10.
Booyah. Albert, what about you?
I was going to say 9, but you know what? 9. You might sway me to 9.5.
Okay. I actually might, because this little tidbit that I saw, I don't know if you'd seen it, but I thought was super cool. It took the main event match from here to like here. I was like, oh, that was so beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and do a 9 because there was one match that it was not good, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyways,
what you're talking about.
Oh man, don't even get me started. We're gonna start from the end. We're gonna start from the end and work our way backwards. That's what we're doing.
All right,
it'd be crazy not to talk about the Civil War first. So that's what we are going to do. And guess what, everybody? Jimmy Bebe came with some notes today. I came prepared for this show. That's how excited I am to be back on Sundays. And also, just a little tidbit for anybody that was watching. I apologize if you hear boom, boom, boom in the background. I literally live next door to a party place. They got boat rentals, pontoon stuff, food trucks, live music, all that stuff going on. And now we got fireworks tonight. So it's a big event going on over there.
I live in rural Staten Island, and there's fireworks going out right outside my window. I mean,
and I can't hear him. So hopefully we can't hear him over here.
If I can get a food truck at any time, I envy you, man. Especially if it's good. Especially if it's good.
Here's the thing. There's literally 3 food trucks in this town that I like, and 2 of them owned by the same guy, unfortunately, never tells us where he's at, so I never get to know. But he's over there right now. I can't go. It's a madhouse. I'm not getting involved. So, and the other one, he just constantly no-shows. It's wild. But yeah, that's what's happening tonight. So if you hear fireworks, that's what it is. Mind your business. Civil War time, though. Jay and Jimmy, the Usos, taking on Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. The big story coming out of this one, Roman Reigns finally got pinned after, 3.5 years by Jay Uso. Whew, Tidey. I'm going to come to you first a lot here. I know you've been got it all bottled up. I'm going to let you get it out. What was your original, your thought when that hand came down for the 3 and Roman's shoulders were still on the mat?
I was shocked. I didn't process it immediately, and I'm like, oh shit, he won.
Yeah.
Oh, he just pinned him. What does that mean? That means, and then my head was just scrambling to what does all this mean? And then I'm seeing Jimmy in the corner, kind of like, almost like he's sitting there praying, or just like, holy shit, this is finally over. And then I started thinking immediately, well, no, this shit ain't over, which is great anticipation. He still has those belts. Oh, but you just watch Roman pout like a baby. The narcissistic thing where he pouted when that spike didn't work. I'm like, wow, that's some great character stuff. Great. So a lot of shit happened at once in my head. And I'm like, what does that mean exactly? So it was a lot to process, but I did jump in a sense of like, after about 10 seconds of thinking, I was like jumping, like, oh my God, it happened. So I can't explain it more than that unless you wanted to get into details about some other part of the subject. But man, that was one of the greatest moments I think in wrestling in a long time.
We definitely going to touch on more. We just the pinfall is the first thing because that's just insane to me. Albert, you were going over a little bit before we went on. Walk us through what was happening. What the heck? This is wild to me.
Right? So if I want to preface this whole thing by saying one thing. I am a man, and if I'm not a man of my word, I am not a man at all. And I am completely 100% owning up to the fact that Jimmy called this 100% right last week, and I was 1,000,000% wrong. We went back and forth about what we thought was going to happen, and inevitably, I didn't think we would see this moment. Roman Reigns has kicked out at 2.999999. I mean, like 500 times. So when Jay hit that splash, I was just expecting 1, 2, 3. I was waiting for it. And when that shoulder didn't shoot up, I was like, I just sat there and I was processing it. Just my chin in my hand just, did this really just happen?
Yeah.
And then I just screamed out. I went, holy effing S, I can't believe this just happened. Did they really just do this? Did that just happen? And Tidey, exactly like you said, man. Jay in the corner with like his head in his hands, almost with that same shocked look on his face that Heyman had when Brock broke the streak. It's just that look of pure, I know this is what I came here to do, but oh my God, it happened. 3.5 years. This is a moment that's going to be replayed in professional wrestling history for the rest of our lives, and they'll outlive us. I mean, this is Triple H even said it in in that post-show wrap-up. He talked about how all the memes kept saying cinema. Man, nail on the head.
Yeah. So it happened. I was writing up the match as it happened. I was able to really take it all in, and I was writing it. Boom. It happened. I was finishing up my writing, and then I took it in, and I was like, holy shit. I was in disbelief. Even though I was like, that's the right call to do it, I was still just in disbelief as man, because I called it last month. I thought Sami should have got the honors, and it didn't happen. I still believe Sami should have got the honors. I don't think it would have hurt Jay pinning him at all. I think it would have been kind of cool if they both got a pin, but I'm okay with it. So, man, it's just been, we've been waiting for him to lose for so long, and it's like, man, it's just never gonna happen at this point. And then it happens, like, oh man. And then, like I said, there was a pause on my behalf for it because I was finishing up, and I look over, and my girl's just like, she's just in disbelief as well. I was like, what? I told my son because he was running back and forth. He didn't get to see. No, he did. He watched. He's like, oh my God. It was just a crazy, crazy, crazy moment. And with that, we're just going to transition into the next question because it's been a big, big topic. I just want to ask your personal opinions on it. Albert, do you think this pinfall that Jay got over Roman Reigns is going to hurt? I'll just go ahead and say it. Cody Rhodes when he beats Roman Reigns for the titles at WrestleMania 40.
No, I don't think so. I think that this is finally the right move to make. I think that the story's been told for so long, and a lot of people mentioned after WrestleMania was over and Cody didn't win that wasn't Cody's part of the story to end the Bloodline story. The Bloodline still had a story to tell even after Cody was out of the equation. And people argued about the fact of, well, it could have been a big deal if he would have lost the championship. Do you think so now? Because at this point, if they would have imploded and Jay got that win,
it's not a big deal.
Yeah, okay. Roman's not the champion anymore. It's not a big deal. They presented Roman with a brand new championship belt. They've made him out to be the king. He is absolutely, the prodigal son. We're crowning you as our guy. And then Jey Uso gets a pin on Roman Reigns. I mean, it's the right thing to do. It's the right way to tell the story. Tidey and I, right before we went on, we're kind of going back and forth talking about SummerSlam looks like it's going to be Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship, for the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. And, I mean, how could you dispute that not being the right call at this point?
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Cinema. How do you get there without Jay pinning him? You just
Absolutely.
Can't. Jay's already lost him 2 or 3 times. So
right. I mean, they could have. We talked about this last week. I said, look, they could pin Solo, and then if Jay wins, they could still get there because there was enough backstory to get. And I think you even brought up it could be Jimmy or Jay at that point.
Yeah.
Whoever it would be to main event. But now, I mean, it's clearly written in the stars. He's done it once. Can he do it again by himself? I mean,
And then before I go over to you, Tidey, I want to get this little bit of information. This is the little information I saw that it kind of just blew my mind and elevated the match just that much more. Do you know who the first person that ever pinned Roman Reigns on WWE television was? Jey Uso.
Yep.
Wow.
So Jay pinned him the first time, and then literally almost 10 years later, he's the first person to pin him during this reign of terror that Roman Reigns. That's fantastic. I don't ever want to hear someone say they don't do long-term storytelling. I know that obviously wasn't the plan from the get-go. Obviously, in 2013, they weren't like, all right, Jay, you're going to pin him now, and then 10 years from now, things are going to be crazy. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But the fact that they were able to look back on their history and tie it in to, I could do this all night. That's beautiful.
Did you also catch the video where in their singles match, Roman kicked out and low blow Jay?
Low blow, and then Jay hit the same
thing. And then Jay did the same thing in this match. Like the callbacks too. And that's my thing. We talk about like AEW fans, like, do kind of rag on WWE and they're like, oh, the bloodline's not real. It's not that good a story. They talk about callbacks, man. The callbacks in this one match to so many different things that's happened over 3 years. I mean, this was art.
Yeah. So with that, Tidey, I forgot what the question was. Do you feel like Roman Reigns getting pinned devalues Cody's victory when he finally gets at WrestleMania for the title?
I think it does somewhat to an extent. But the problem why I don't want that and why it won't matter really for me as a fan by the time it happens is because it's been going on long enough, man. Okay. Like it was a perfect time for Jay to do this, just like Elimination Chamber was a perfect time. We built up to this thing. If it wasn't for SmackDown the night before saying, well, I don't even want to be Tribal Chief. He didn't want to be Tribal Chief. You know what? Solo make a great Tribal Chief. Like they just hit the hypothetical, what we thought could happen. They just say it out loud. And then now you see Roman squirming in the match. Now you see things kind of playing. I mean, like, if it's timed perfectly, hey, go with it. I don't want to wait another couple I don't want to wait another year for Roman to get pinned, man. I mean, it just, you say, oh, it can work out, it can play out. But hey, you know, someone smarter than me had figured it out, and I was really happy last night. So if Cody, or when Cody does beat Roman, the biggest bad guy, to push the biggest baby face, to take a legitimate win, I think they can come up with a story. I think they can work the angles to where it would be just as satisfying. But if I was to say now and think about it, like if it hasn't been 3.5 years and it's only been, say, 2,
yeah,
and then now Jay does it, and then he's going to do it a couple months later, then, like, yeah, that does devalue it. But it's been 3.5, so that's my point of view on it. I think they're going to build it right by the time WrestleMania hits.
So the reason I don't think it devalues it is because this story isn't about the world title or anything like that. This story is about the bloodline. I think Albert brought it up. This is about the bloodline.
And Cody's story, exactly.
Yeah, it's not Cody's story. And Roman, when he lost to the WWE has been very, very adamant about letting everyone know this is the greatest tag team in the history of WWE. Roman was on his own at that point. Solo took himself out, and it was Roman by himself. So for him to lose to the greatest tag team of all time, essentially by himself, during this family saga where emotions are running at an all-time high, I add the emotions into things like this. I know some people won't because they view it as a sport, but I do because it's storytelling, in my opinion. And when you add all those things up, I don't think it devalues Cody winning at all, because Cody, I said when Cody comes back, he's got to do it after the bloodline crumbles. This is how the bloodline crumbles, because now Roman's the idea is that Roman isn't unbeatable. He's not the guy that they have to look up to and be like, well, don't want to make Roman mad. They know they can stand up to him at this point. Sami showed him the way. They've now kind of took it to another level. And the next step, obviously, and this will be the last question about this match, and then we'll move on to the other ones. How much longer do you think Solo sticks around with Roman before he gets fed up? Tidey, I'm going to swing to you first.
Three PLEs from now.
Okay.
By the time the third PLE shows up, I would say it would be smarter to do it in the second. No, third's better.
Survivor Series?
Yeah, by Survivor Series. Leave Roman on his damn own by then, right? If Roman's going to show up for that PLE.
And that's a good Royal Rumble match to have too, because it's essentially a throwaway title match, but the story involved in it will be fantastic. So I'm with that.
Before we leave this subject of Roman, I got to say, the sentimental thing that went on of Roman pouting in the ring and the way he got beaten with those kicks repeatedly, and you almost felt bad for him, but you don't feel bad for him at all. It's kind of getting what he deserves. It's just like they just killed a god. Yeah. They just killed a king in the ring. They just literally killed him.
They teamed up and combined to create Kratos.
Man, they were brutal with those kicks. I mean, that also added to the moment. Like, man, you just watch the unbeaten. Now, you watch this cocky guy we thought was going to win. That is just everything. And I look at him, I'm like, damn, that dude is on top of the mountain for sure. To watch him crumble like that and pout and break down and then get hit the way he did and actually get pinned, it was like literally me seeing a king get killed on live television. It was crazy. It's like watching, I don't know, man. It's like watching Macho Man get embarrassed. It doesn't happen.
No.
It doesn't happen. You can't embarrass Macho Man on live TV. I just saw it. That's the other part that really hit me. It took a while for that to sink in. It's like, God, man, Roman.
I'll put it this way. I feel like that moment is exactly what should have happened when Sting beat Hollywood Hulk Hogan at Starrcade. That's exactly what that moment should have been. It was that damn good. Like, Roman's. I do also want to give Roman credit for this, too, because I guess the UK fans, I didn't know what they were chanting at first, but I saw it today, and they were like, stand up if you hate Roman or something like that. And then Roman's like, I'm going to sit down. He loves himself that much that he's like, I'm going to make myself look like a fool, and I'm going to sit down because they're saying stand up if you hate Roman. And then he's talking to Paul like, why are we even here? This is the worst place of all time. These people are stupid. It's so good.
And then they said sit down. They said sit down if you hate Roman after that. It's like
so good. And then he stands his ass back.
That was part of the show.
I don't think
made that a part of the show.
I don't think anyone plays the crowd as well as Roman Reigns does right now. It's fantastic what he does. Albert, now you. How long before you think Solo is just fed up?
So I think you said Royal Rumble. I think that's exactly where it goes.
I think that's where they have their match if they did the breakup. So I don't think it lasts that long personally. But if it did happen in Survivor Series, I think that's a good time because Royal Rumble, Solo, Roman.
So I have a feeling it's going to be Jimmy right now. It's going to be Jay now at SummerSlam for the championship. I think whatever the pay-per-view is, our September pay-per-view, it's going to be Jimmy.
Payback.
I think that
Roman is not advertised for that show. Just heads up.
I
know it doesn't mean anything,
right? So then, if it's not then maybe the next pay-per-view. I think it's Jimmy, and then I think that Roman has someone to really overcome by Survivor Series, and he escapes by the skin of his teeth. But it's kind of a little bit like on Solo, where maybe he has a miscue and Solo accidentally kicks Roman or something like that. And there's a little tension, and it builds and it builds and it builds, and until finally it crescendos at Royal Rumble, where now he's got no one. And I also think that when that happens, either Paul Heyman sides with Solo.
Oh, he's leaving with Solo.
So I believe so too, and I believe that that's going to be the big thing. But and maybe so that's why it could go two ways. There's a part of me that thinks either A, it happens right before, and now you don't have Heyman, or B, Heyman stays with Roman until he loses the championship and then ends up siding with Solo after that. Okay, the King's down. Where do I go? We all know that we're going to build him up as the next tribal chief.
Like he always does.
I'm going to hang my hat with him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way it's going to go. But, just really quick, just to touch on everything else that you guys were talking about with Roman, the best storyteller in the business right now, hands down, when it comes to being in the ring, there's nobody that tells a story like it. He verbally tells you that story when you don't want to hear it sometimes too. It was absolutely incredible. He is, like you said, it's like the slaying of a god, last night. But the MVPs of the entire Money in the Bank show was that London crowd. Not once did they try to take over the show.
They did during the women's Money. Was it? I remember there was a match they did try to take over, and I was like, "This is kind of bullshit." I don't remember what match it was. I want to say maybe it was the women's tag match.
Maybe I missed it then, but for the most part, yeah, they it was, and everything was high energy, singing. And we'll get to this when we get to it, but singing every word of Cody Rhodes' theme song as he comes out, you can feel the electricity through your television from that. If anybody deserved to see Roman getting that first defeat, it's that London crowd.
Yeah, I agree. And just quickly, I think Solo leaves him at SummerSlam. I look at how Royal Rumble ended. It was a crazy ending. Elimination Chamber ending. It was a big ending. WrestleMania wasn't like a crazy big ending, but it's WrestleMania, and Cody losing was kind of a shock. So that's a big ending. I feel like every time Roman has had a match on a PLE this year, they've always left us with something that was like, damn. And I think I can think of two things. One doesn't make sense. It's more just kind of nonsense fantasy booking, and that's Jimmy leaving Jay. But it doesn't make sense to me in my head. I don't know how you get there. Maybe they can, and they'll show me, and I'll be like, hell yeah. But I don't think it happens. I think Solo leaves him at SummerSlam. I don't think he attacks him. I think he just kind of is like, I'm over this shit. Like, I don't want to choose between you and my brothers anymore. And then he leaves for a little bit, and when he comes back, I think that's what we get with Solo. But again, we all have different ideas of what's happening.
I agree with it. I think that's perfect. That's how you would do a story. You're right. There's always a big moment, and that would be it if they do that right. Yeah.
My only kind of, I guess, fallback on, and it would fall into the payback thing because again, if Roman's not at that pay-per-view, it's like, because I don't got Solo at my side. I'm not doing this. He's scared. He's literally scared at this point. That's what I got from the end of Money in the Bank. He's terrified because he's watching his kingdom crumble. And who's building their kingdom? Whoa! I told y'all all this in January. I told y'all this was gonna happen in January. Kiss my butt. But from there, we'll go in the time machine. We'll go to the very beginning of the show because the next match, if we go backwards, wouldn't make sense if we didn't talk about the first match first. Men's Money in the Bank. Real quick, what do we all think about the winner? Tidey, what up?
I wanted Escobar, but again, there's a better story to be told with I think everybody that won tonight or last night. So I don't know why I wasn't thinking. I mean, I kind of thought about it, and that would have been my second pick, but I was so just dead set on Escobar.
Yeah.
That when he won, I'm like, that's still representation. I'm still getting Puerto Rican badass.
Yeah.
And he has been presented like a king of Judgment Day. That dude is big. He can speak. He means what he says.
He can go.
Oh my God. And that is a better story between him, Finn. Who's he going to cash in on? And what's the biggest faction besides, the bloodline? Now you got some shit going on with that. And they got JD McDonough in between all that. Like, how's that going to play out?
I'm very curious how JD gets pulled into this.
Better story. He can take Finn's spot for all we know, or act like he's with Finn, and then take his spot. Because I had someone tell me that that was probably you. I just thinking of it, like, what better than if they came in together? It was Rhea and Damian. It wasn't that Finn wasn't there at first.
Yeah.
So you got all kinds of shit you can play with. It's a better story. So yeah, he should win the Money in the Bank. So I was happy.
Yeah. Albert, what about you? What do you think about Damian Priest winning that Money in the Bank briefcase?
So it's funny because I can kind of echo what Tidey said, because I was so dead set on Ricochet finally getting like this big.
I don't mean to laugh. I really don't mean to laugh. But
no, I wanted to see a part of that too in me. I did kind of want to see something.
There was just something about it that, like, the way they've been building him. It's been like an odd build, and sometimes they do that. Like they did it with Punk when he won the Money in the Bank. He was just on a very odd like build where he was featured every week and in a prominent spot with prominent talent. Like I just felt like that's the story they were telling with Ricochet, and I was like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the breakout. This is finally where they're gonna put him, give him a little bit, and it didn't happen. No. And my second choice the entire way was Damian Priest. I was like, the guy's got everything you want to being a main event guy, and I've been saying since his debut, once he came into NXT, they should have strapped a rocket to him right at that moment, because he was about 37 when he came into NXT.
Yeah.
By the time he got up to the main roster, if they did it right, by him being about 40, he can be in the main event picture. And boom, he's 40 years old. He wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's in the main event picture. It's perfect. It's the perfect story to be filmed.
Yeah. Let's see. So she's out there. She walked down and watched fireworks. She's watching with us. So we're watching fireworks with her. That's what's happening there. And we got Tom. What up, T? What up, T? Thank you for joining. Sorry I didn't invite you to the show again. Maybe one day, bud.
Fireworks going off over there. Fireworks going off on here. You gotta love it.
So Damian Priest was the guy I really thought was going to win it the whole time. Like, it just made. I thought LA Knight again. I don't think LA Knight needed it. Anybody that watched SmackDown and Money in the Bank knows LA Knight did not need no briefcase. Yeah, you dummy. He don't need it. Logan Paul wasn't winning it because it would have just been, they took one step forward with Seth getting the title. Putting it on Logan Paul would have been 2 steps backward. They're not going to do that. This is Triple H running things. I don't care what anyone says. It's not going to happen. What I will say, I wanted Santos to win it. I thought Santos, him getting the pop for winning it would have been kind of helpful to get him to the next level. And then when he cashed in on Austin Theory, which is what I thought he would have cashed it in on, it would have given him another pop because people want Austin Theory to lose at this point. And I think those 2 pops would have been enough to give him a title, run with it, and it kind of would have been enough to, at the very least, keep him in that mid-card to where he's taken seriously. Because he does get some very silent reactions, and I hate it. I think that could have helped change it. It didn't happen, though. So be it. Damian Priest wins. Perfect. Goes with the story. 100%, which we'll talk more about later. And you brought up NXT. When Damian Priest came to NXT, I thought he was, I don't want to say trash. I didn't think he had it. I just didn't. And he didn't do anything in NXT that made me think he had it. Since he's been on the main roster, though, I've eaten every single one of those words multiple times because I love the dude. I think he's fantastic. And I think they've built him up over the past few months. What's up, Tidey? What you got?
Man, what was it? It was versus Keith Lee or versus Dijakovic that he had. That's when he broke out in NXT.
I think
that's when I knew he had it.
He had a great match against Finn Balor. I remember that. I don't remember else who he had a good match with.
I think it was Keith Lee.
It was Keith Lee. Yeah, it was Keith Lee and Dijakovic that had those great matches. And then you throw in Damian Priest, I'm like, man, can he do what they did? And he did, dude.
Yeah.
He had some killer matches with them. So that's, for me, that's what made him skyrocket.
I think getting the clean win over Riddle was a shock to me. I think that was that was when I kind of was like starting to pay attention. Like, what are they doing here with Damian? Because that was weird. I thought Riddle was a perfect fit for the Money in the Bank. Didn't happen. And obviously he went on to do other things, so it's not a big deal. But his match with Seth it's just beautiful. And then him going head to head with Finn, the dissension creating right there. It's like, okay, yeah, it makes sense to give him the briefcase. He's earned it. And like you said, he's 40. LA Knight, another one who's like 40, I think. And people were like, man, we got to get some new faces in the main event scene. Got to get some new faces in the main event scene. They got to pull the trigger on these guys soon because they're getting old. Well, they just did it with both of them because LA Knight is probably the second most over dude in WWE right now. Like,
and they know it. And let's just throw it out there real quick. Twitter melted down in two ways yesterday. They melted down in the first way because, we talked about
He shouldn't have won it.
The whole bandwidth thing, and then the LA Knight meltdown.
He shouldn't have won it.
There's no need. Look how over he is. All everybody was saying is like, I can't believe he didn't win. Right? Because he's over. Triple H knows he's over. You can't, if you have ears, he's over.
Yeah, Money in the Bank wasn't designed to get people over. It wasn't designed to help people who are over. It's to get people over. And LA Knight didn't need it.
And Damian Priest is at that point where not that he needed it because we know he's over, but he needed that shove to get him to that next level, to be put into that main event category. LA Knight's not going to need that because they're not going to put LA Knight in that spot anyway. He's going to probably be in the U.S. title picture first.
What you got, Tidey?
There's a better story to be told, as usual. I like hearing that from Jimmy. The better story is LA Knight, when we start to see him ascend towards a title and actually get there, that's the story itself. The dude can talk it up himself. He's going to get a title most likely by the end of this year, if not before WrestleMania. He's getting a title. That's what I believe, and that's going to be his story. And that's a better story. He doesn't need a briefcase to just cash in and make us laugh at his antics each week. He doesn't need to pull that missed stuff. He's good.
And to add to it, like, I don't even think he needs a title. Like, I still think he needs it. Like, it's cool if he has one for sure. You definitely want to strike while the iron's hot.
To jump onto what Tidey said earlier, actually, LA Knight winning the briefcase is a hindrance to him because the briefcase in a quote unquote comedy heel act is a way, like Dolph Ziggler. He wasn't really a comedy heel, but he was like, kind of a crap talking heel who could lose a lot of matches. It's a way for them to make them lose, but still keep them important because, I still have this briefcase. LA Knight would have went on the biggest losing streak as the Money in the Bank winner because all they would have did was been like, I still have Money in the Bank, and they would have justified it. Now with Priest, they can't do that because he's a badass. Like, they put it in the hands of the right person. It would have hindered LA Knight.
I don't think they'll go the route of the losing streak either, honestly, because they kind of do that leading into Money in the Bank too. And Damian Priest, like I said, wasn't on a losing streak. He was actually on a hot streak. So
not with Priest.
Yeah,
they won't. But with LA Knight, they would have.
LA Knight is a guy that can talk. And the briefcase, you said a hindrance. He'd have to address the briefcase, and it's like that. I want to know what LA Knight has to say. Tidey, I saw you lifting up. What's up?
But last thing, LA Knight's character, though, the character he plays in that ring that I watch on TV every single time, and I cannot take my eyes off it. He will say he wants gold. And that's the thing. That's why I think he's going to get gold by WrestleMania because he wants it. And for us to keep loving and enjoying it, it's the build to see him slowly get there and they actually get close to the gold and get it. That's the story. Like, they got to give that to him. Quick
question. Has nothing to do with Money in the Bank, but why not? Just yes or no. WrestleMania 40, obviously, we got Roman and Cody, most likely 99.9999% percent chance that's happening. For Seth Rollins, if he's still champion, do you think LA Knight makes a good opponent for him at WrestleMania?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. LA Knight will make a good opponent to anyone, but with Seth, even better.
Yeah.
Because beat the dude that is the dude, and we're already calling LA Knight the dude, but WWE is calling Seth the dude. Yeah. So what bigger than that? What a better thank you, Jamie. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. LA Knight clearly, because people are still loving the man. It's only going to get bigger, and you don't put it on a person who literally just got hot. Sorry, that is the case. LA Knight literally just found this kind of fandom last month, so you don't put it on him because that could die next month. It could, and then you're stuck. Look at Otis, perfect example. You don't want that to happen again, and he's not.
Look at Theory last year.
Again. it makes sense not to put it on. And one more question about this match because it has to be interesting. Look it up.
Exactly, Courtney.
What am I chilling about? You go ahead and let me know what I need to chill about. Logan Paul and Ricochet almost died the other day, yesterday. What do you think Ricochet should have bailed, or are you going to give him credit for sticking to his guns? Because I think he's a crazy, insane person for trying to even do it. Like, as soon as it like got caught up, it's like, all right, guys, let's figure something else out. Don't do what you did because, man, that was bad. That was bad. They didn't get hurt, thankfully. They didn't get hurt. That was good, but man, I was gonna say, I know that's Lou. This is Lou right here. He hates Ricochet so bad.
I hate what I'm about to say. That
Ricochet should have bailed for sure. And I love Otis, bro. I do. But they put the briefcase on. It was a stupid idea. It just was. It was never going to last. He was never going to win. It was a stupid idea. Paul looked a little shook after. Yeah, I would be too if someone just ran my head through a fucking table coming off the ring like that. That was crazy. But yeah. Well, do you think they should have followed through with this, or do you think they should have bailed? Tidey, you laughing over there. I'm going to let you go.
I'm confused. I got all kinds of emotions when I saw that shit. I mean, like, no, man. After 3.5 seconds of fumbling your feet and we don't know how to stand right, just fucking punch me and let me fall. I mean, fuck me, dude. It was a very ballsy thing. I thought, hey, ladder, we hit our feet on it. We do a thing. I throw you real quick. That was the idea. It clearly fucking failed. No, they should have bailed on it, man.
Logan's
but that's what WWE does. I've seen so much in WWE when someone fucks up a spot and you'll see them try to correct it and do it again. And they don't care if it's fucking 8 seconds later. They will reposition that shit.
I like it when
at that moment, that was such a high stakes moment that it was better to bail. But they were in the zone. They're probably thinking, hey, we can correct this. It just took too long.
Yeah. I think the idea of the spot is nuts in itself because we've seen Ricochet do it all the time. He gets pushed off the ladder, lands on the rope, flips, lands on people. The fact that he was trying to land with someone else and do a Spanish fly is like, yo, that's insane, bro. What were you thinking?
You got ladder weight. You got a person's foot and another person's foot on a thing that holds weight in a weird way. All three of those things would have to be timed so greatly to pull that balance bullshit off. That is a nutty spot for sure.
And Lou said this. That was funny as hell when they all just jumped in to start the match. Honestly, if I was them, I would have just went to the apron and I don't know, done a Hurricane Rana through the table or something. I don't know. I would. The fact they went through it was crazy. It was nuts.
All right.
And Logan Paul didn't bail because he's never been injured like this. So to him, he's just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Had that man ever suffered like a crazy injury, he would have bailed in a second. I promise you.
He also needs to be humbled. He needs to be humbled. Everybody's talking about he's so damn great. The dude's probably thinking his shit don't stink, that he got soaps in his underwears. I don't know what he's thinking. But if anything humbled you right there, man, you ain't the perfect performer. Shit can go wrong. And maybe he can be a little bit scared of, dude, I can really get hurt. I don't know. But that could be good for Logan, man.
Yeah. Albert, what about you? What should they have done?
Ultimately, I think that there was no way that spot wasn't going off. Ricochet wasn't winning. Yeah. Logan Paul wasn't winning. That was their moment in that match. Like that is
the biggest spot of the match.
Absolutely. That's the biggest moment in the match. So Ricochet is a consummate pro going, okay, we're off of this. I'm going to trust myself that Logan's enough of an athlete that I can pull him with me to get him to rotate where I need him to get while I rotate with him. Ricochet did that all by himself.
And Logan didn't.
Logan did nothing except just lean on Ricochet for it. But
he didn't flip. He
didn't
flip.
No. He got Ricochet pulled him, and he pulled his head to the side just enough so he wasn't going to crack his face going through that table like that. That was all on Ricochet. And here's the thing: was it dangerous? Yes, but that's just one of those things where it's fight or flight. I don't believe that there was anything wrong. The spot, it was disgusting where Dante Martin broke his ankle. There was nothing wrong with the actual spot that happened. It was crazy. Just bad luck. This is the same thing. This was just a crazy spot that had bad luck, and that was it. This isn't, and yes, it was planned, but this isn't them trying to drop themselves on their heads with the whole Kenny Omega Will Ospreay thing, because I know people started talking about that right afterwards. This wasn't the intention. The intention was this to be done safer.
To counterpoint the counterpoint that Dante Martin won, though, that was just like a move that happened and an accident happened.
Right.
They never had a chance to bail on it. It just happened. Ricochet and Logan had a chance to bail on it, and honestly, I think they should have. I really, and then just kind of re-upped and did something else to the tables. Because there's ladders involved. Ricochet could have just jumped off one. We would have been happy as hell. Logan Paul could have jumped off. Ricochet could have moved. We would have been we would have been happy anyway. If Logan Paul would have broke his neck there, we ain't gonna be very happy about it. We're gonna be like, damn, that's rough. So
he had a very rough looking scratch on his shoulder, and that was it. Yeah. So thank God. That's it. That's all.
They are very dedicated. I give Logan all the props in the world, bro. Like, cause it was just nuts for him to go through with it. I'm glad he's okay, but
they put that spot together, themselves. This isn't. They probably came up with this. They both.
No, they did.
Like, oh, we're doing this.
Yeah. I'm 100% sure they did, because what did they talk about? Oh, that one Rumble spot or that one spot. Yeah. When Ricochet was talking about that, like, I helped you do that.
Right.
So you got to believe it's Money in the Bank. It's a ladder match.
It's England. You doing a show in front of that crowd? Yeah.
Absolutely. They wanted a big spot. That spot is extremely ambitious, though. Like, fuck that spot. I would never.
What's we got? We got Motor Torque Wrestling. I always said Solo would turn on Roman Reigns, but end of the day, I don't see Jinder teaming up with Roman, but I do see Jacob Fatu possibly being brought up in this somehow, some way. I think that could happen. But
I love that guy. I love everything Jinder Mahal. I'll take Jinder Mahal anywhere with Otis, with Alpha Academy. I don't give a shit. Give me Jinder Mahal every day. The man's a perfect character.
He's not part of the bloodline. That ain't happening.
Do it. I don't give a shit. He's his long lost nephew. I don't know.
We'll move on from there. It was a good match. Barring the spot, it was still a really fun, good match. I think.
I'm gonna go grab my charger real quick. I didn't realize my laptop was almost dead.
You good? So we're gonna move on to the next match on the show. Is the women's tag team match. We won't spend too much on it. It wasn't a crazy affair, but we got new champs. That's fun. And I will ask you this, Tidey, since I haven't talked to you in a minute. Since WrestleMania, would you say the women's tag titles have looked pretty damn good?
Yes. Now they're looking good to me, at least.
Yeah.
Now they are, yes, because of how everything is.
That's me scratching
my own back. All the women's division is finally coming into place, and I've been waiting, and now I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask everybody about that question until I just feel okay about it, because I said it would happen, and it is happening. It was this. It was on last month's PLE 2, wasn't it? The women's tag titles.
Yeah,
I can't.
Wait,
they're featured. They're featured weekly on the show. So
yeah. They just did the unification match and everything. So
Unfortunately, Liv and Raquel winning isn't even the biggest story to come out of this match, because Shayna Baszler finally said, "I am done with Ronda Rousey," and she attacked her from behind. I could ask y'all if y'all saw it coming. No one did. No one saw it.
I did. I didn't see.
You saw it happening at Money in the Bank?
Not there.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Nobody saw it happening at Money in the Bank. That's my thing. Are you mad that there was no build to it happening?
No, I wasn't, because I wrote the notes for this. Because one, I didn't see it happening at a PLE on like one of their big title defenses, like if it's not their first real on a major occasion. And
especially
they got a credible opponent. And they got a credible opponent, former tag. Like we'd be like, oh, this can go either way. They're gonna give it back to Raquel and Liv, and I could think it would be later. But the fact that they pulled this shit, the unexpectedness made it way more fun. And then I thought, oh my God, Shayna's back.
Yeah,
that was the build for months ago that possibly, and now Shayna is like that. That made my night alone. If that was the only thing that happened on this PLE, I would have given it a 5 out of 10 and everything else bombed. That would have earned 5 points for me alone. Shayna is back.
Let's get these comments real quick before we go to Albert. Has been injured, Mahal. So I think he was injured, and then he went to NXT. Now he's got 2 big dudes with him, and he's back on Raw. He's very serious. He looks like a really big problem, along with his 2 big boys. So Jinder's back in the swing of things. I think by the time the Royal Rumble comes around, he'll kind of be a major player again. I think so. New champs, Liv and Raquel. Good deal, because they shouldn't have ever lost them. Unfortunately, she got hurt, so it is what it is. What's the Shane thing about? Yeah, we'll find out when Shayna talks about it, because, again, there was no lead up. But I will say this. What I have noticed about their matches, the few they've had together, Shayna kind of does all the heavy lifting, and then Ronda tags herself in. pick up the scraps.
Wasn't that what happened last night as well?
It's exactly what happened to Money in the Bank. Shayna had Liv. Liv was basically begging for her life at that point. They ended up in the corner, and Ronda tagged herself in. And then Shayna didn't even acknowledge Ronda. She just started to get out of the ring. Ronda walked in, and then Shayna just snapped and attacked her. I'm almost positive that's what the story's going to be. She goes, I'm tired of just carrying you. She goes, everyone thinks Ronda's the baddest bitch on the planet. But I've been carrying you, and I'm done with it. And if what I heard is correct, Ronda apparently is on her way out. And this is going to be the last bit of business she does.
What the commentators did say about, I could swear it was last night, the commentator said she was arguably the greatest women's champion on NXT. And that kind of gave you the hint, like, this is the real biggest badass. And that's what she was. And you know what? Just like Asuka, she wants that shit back. And she's got to be behind the biggest so-called badass.
Yeah.
You know,
having her choke out Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam would be a huge moment for her. It would put Baszler back in that spot that she should be in, honestly. Absolutely not mad about it. No build. They didn't have anything going in that aspect. But then she follows it up with, it happens all the time. And you're absolutely 100% correct. And that's why I don't understand why people were like, I didn't see it coming. Cool. I'd like to be surprised.
Yeah. Why are we against that?
Good. Rousey sucks. You know I'm always going to co-sign that kind of stuff. And that is why fuck with you, Lou. So, Albert, what was your thoughts on Shayna just snapping?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Look, at the end of the day, you know, it looks like Ronda is, you know, wanted to do one thing on this run, and that was to elevate Shayna Baszler. So credit where credit is due, because she could have been inserted again into the world title picture, but she lost, you know, the world championship to Charlotte. She didn't even get a rematch. You know, she went right back into being a tag team wrestler after she had a little bit of a hiatus. She teamed with Shayna the whole time, and it looks like that's what she wanted to do. It looks like she came in, you know, at the end of business to put over Shayna Baszler and get her up to another level. And good for Rousey for doing that for her friend. I like that there wasn't a build-up. I think that you hit the nail on the head, Jimmy. I think that's exactly where they're going to go. She's doing all the heavy lifting. And Tidey, you're 100% right. Shayna's always been a badass. We saw it in NXT. We saw how good she was. We saw that she could be, you know, she can carry the women's division the entire way. So it's the perfect story to tell. It's going to be the perfect person to put Rousey out for, you know, however long she's going to end up being out. Because, you know, eventually they say, you know, she's on her way out, means she's just going to go away for a little while, probably return around SummerSlam time, Royal Rumble time, and, you know, get into a WrestleMania, you know, feud for a little bit. But if that's going to be what Rousey does, good. And now the tag titles are on another team that they're trying to make as, you know, being a legitimate team. It gives Liv and Raquel both gold, two people who it satiates two needs. It satiates the WWE because it gives them, you know, their pet project in Raquel a championship run, and they pair her with Liv, who everybody loves. So they hope that rubs off on Raquel to make her another big babyface superstar eventually.
They were on the way of like being the ones that brought the prestige back to the titles to begin with. Again, Shayna. It was Liv that got hurt, and then it just kind of derailed it all. So I don't know if Ronda and Shayna were ever supposed to win those tag titles, if I'm being honest.
They might not have.
I think they got put in there when Liv got hurt, and then I think this was the match that was supposed to happen the entire time. And then I don't think Shayna and Ronda were ever supposed to win the tag. I honestly believe that after seeing what's happened now and how everything's unfolded.
It was supposed to be a Shayna beef with Ronda eventually, and they were hinting that at like the end of last year, kind of. I think they just had to kind of, and this is where I give them credit, because I think they're really good at it. When things go haywire, they're really good at pivoting. And I think that's what happened here. But I don't need to, that's Tom right there. Mela is money. No, Mela is a mommy now, bro. She ain't money no more. She's gone. I know that's Tom. He loves some Mela. But we'll move on from there. Again, congratulations to Liv and Raquel. I'm a big fan of the women's tag division. I know that sounds absolutely crazy after what we've been through for the past like 3 years, but I think since Mania has been fantastic.
So
even before Mania, when I saw everything kind of coming together, I was like, man, the women's division, tag division is going to be kind of fun here in a little bit.
You know, and they brought up two brand new teams from NXT. They put people. They've been putting people together to kind of the whole Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville team. They're putting people together that are working. So it's great. They're putting some. They're actually putting some thought into this. I have a feeling that we're going to see they had Nikki Cross and Piper Niven were teams. Were a team for a little while. I think that we might get a little bit of a rebuild of that once Piper comes
Candace
back.
and Indy.
Candace and Indy.
Isla and Alba.
Right.
The
Absolutely.
best women's tag team in the freaking world.
Katana and Aiden.
Don't you even dare argue with me. Alba and Isla are hands down the greatest women's tag team in the world. I ain't gonna listen to the argument. I'm gonna end that on that because I don't want nobody to tell me I was wrong. We're gonna move on to the next match. And I'm not gonna spend much time on this one because in my opinion, it was kind of the biggest letdown of the show. It wasn't a bad match. It was just kind of a letdown. We got the IC title match between Gunther and Riddle. I was underwhelmed by it. I just felt like it didn't have that violent aspect to it that I was really hoping was going to happen because I've seen these guys wrestle before and it was brutal. This one was kind of just, it almost seemed like a TV match to me. I don't know if y'all share that sentiment. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong now, but I don't want to spend too much time on this one just because again, it's just, I don't think I saw many people even talking about it online.
I was happy to see Gunther do his thing and walk out and present the way he presented. Him slapping the ankle at the end was a little weird, but I'll take it, whatever. It's like, I don't know, somebody dabbing on a mic. It was kind of weird. But I guess that's part of the thing. I can slap your ankle off. Like, that was a little something. But I still liked it altogether. Maybe because I'm just a fool for Gunther. I don't know. I was just happier with the ending. Drew comes out. Who is the guy to beat someone like Gunther? And then they even commented on like, oh, all the disputes about he's not happy with WWE. That's over. And I love that they played to that because holy shit, that.
Oh no. So just to touch on it real quick while he's gone. Drew even mentioned, he goes, man, I've been counting down the days for Money in the Bank. And I was like, yeah, you can tell this man was back tidy. He bounced out. Maybe he'll jump back in a minute. But yeah, Drew was counting down the days to return. And it was like, yeah, this made sense for him to come. And my girl, she's a big Randy Orton fan. She was like, we're getting a return. It's going to be Randy. No, Randy don't make sense here tonight. Drew makes sense. So if Drew's going to return tonight, if there's a return tonight, it's going to be Drew. So we'll just talk about that since he let the cat out the bag.
Sure.
First off, were you underwhelmed by the match? I saw you liked it, and that's fine. It wasn't a bad match, but
I liked it. I just think so. I don't think it was. Look, I don't think Gunther's capable of having a bad match. I think that it was on a scale of Gunther, like he normally puts on a 5-star match every time he's out there. Maybe this was maybe about like a 3.5. You know what I mean? Like it still wasn't bad by any means.
No.
It wasn't. I think that a lot of people expected a little bit more. I think that they were maybe told to go a little bit less hard because they wanted to make the story more about Drew. So if Gunther, he was a little bit more formidable and it really looked like, wow, even Riddle didn't stand much of a chance against him. Who's going to take this guy down? Bang, Drew McIntyre comes out. I mean, maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But
I think the problem is because Gunther's been so good that I just expect a lot from him. And I'm a big Riddle guy. I know a lot of people don't like Riddle. I love Riddle. I think Riddle is arguably, if he's not the best seller in wrestling, he's the second best for sure. Yeah. Like I always believe that man is injured and he's really good. He has a great offense. His style is fantastic and he's entertaining as shit to me. So, a lot of people don't like Riddle and I don't get it. I really don't.
I don't understand why.
They don't like I'm petting kangaroos and flying with monkeys. And there's like, that's stupid. Shut up. He's a badass. But,
he's a goofball, but then when it gets right, he's ready to fight, and then I love the character.
Yeah, I've always loved it. I would like them to alternate just a little bit, and it seems like they have. When things get serious, he snaps and he goes back into being a badass, and then when he's done, goes back to being a lovable bro. I don't think they should definitely change it all like everyone else.
You can't erase everything and just make him serious because then it takes away everything that he built on.
Yeah. But I think all of us dig Riddle for that reason. This is why I thought my girl was gonna be a big Riddle fan. If we're being honest,
right?
Didn't happen.
But I will say this about the Drew stuff: the biggest FU to the entire wrestling media in the entire world was A, not only Drew McIntyre coming back, but B, Drew McIntyre coming back as a babyface and going after Gunther. The things that everybody said that he did not want to do at all. He's not going to come back as a babyface. They're not going to put him in an Intercontinental title program with Gunther. It's got to be as a heel. He has to be against Seth. And what did he do? He went, hey, you know what? I'm coming back in the UK to the biggest babyface reaction possible. I'm going to go after Gunther. And then when time comes right, maybe he'll turn heel. Maybe he won't. I don't know what'll happen. But I think Drew is here to stay. And I think it's so good that that's how they brought him back. The perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
See, what's crazy is the match was good. Drew's return was really cool. My favorite part of this whole thing is just, I know this is going to sound so bad. It makes me sound like one of those just idiots. I think my favorite part about it was watching the wrestling media journalists try to spin it like, well, this isn't the information we were given. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't the information you were given because they play you literally like a fiddle. Ever since Triple H has come back, they've been played like a fiddle. And this is the biggest one yet because they're fantasy booking this man to show up at All In, even though his contract's not up until December.
I know.
People were like, literally like, he is gone. He is so mad. They've been treating him like shit. He is just done. And then here he is, shows up, and Triple H is like, yeah, if he's got beef, it's news to me, baby. So
I also love the mental gymnastics there that somehow WWE was gonna let him out of his contract and he was gonna automatically be okay to go to All In. Meanwhile, when we've actually literally seen somebody get let out of their contract to go to the competition, the caveat was, and this is from your Lord and Savior, Tony Khan, the caveat was, hey, William Regal's not allowed to be on television for one full calendar year.
Yeah.
You think WWE is going to let go of one of their biggest stars and go, hey, by the way, you can show up on AEW TV tomorrow?
Here's what I will say. I think Triple H might, just so that he stays in good graces with him for down the road. I think he might. It wouldn't have happened, though. Drew wasn't going nowhere. The idea that Drew was mad and felt like he had been booked toward, I don't know what they're talking about. Like they put the title on him. They had him beat Brock at WrestleMania, and obviously COVID and there was no fans. That's not really their fault. But right. how chips have fallen since then. I don't think he's been like made to look like a fool or anything. He's been treated very well. He had one of the best matches at WrestleMania this year, and now he's going to come back. And I'll say this right now: Drew is going to beat Gunther at SummerSlam. Honky Tonk Man's record is not being broken. Drew is going to beat him at Royal Rumble. So
I didn't think that there was a way that anybody was going to do it, but this is the way to do it.
Yeah. And again, people are going to go, there's no way that Gunther is going to drop the title before he. Yeah, he will. He's going to lose Drew because that's going to be another big moment. And that's what Triple H is really good at since he's taken over. As much as he's taken over, he creates a lot of really awesome moments at these PLEs. He makes them special. Like, what's a special moment for Drew? Hey, we know you're hey, why don't we have you beat Gunther at SummerSlam in front of a huge crowd, and you end his streak before he's able to break the record? That's a cool moment. That's a very big moment for Drew. Hell yeah, he's gonna take it, and that's how you get the title off Gunther and it be respectable. So,
hey, Jimmy, can I just really quick? Can I ask you a very quick question before we move on?
Yeah.
We're right around the same age, so we've had a little bit of this discussion before. When we talk about the Attitude Era, what are the things that you remember the most? Like three things that pop into your head immediately when you think of Attitude Era.
Stone Cold and Vince McMahon. If we're strictly in the WWE.
Yeah.
Stone Cold and Vince McMahon. Mankind being thrown off a Hell in a Cell, and a fantastic mid card.
So, but for the most part, when you think back and you talk to your friends, is it matches that you talk about, or is it moments?
Oh, it's moments. Like I said, Stone Cold Vince McMahon. That's a moment. Mankind being thrown off a Hell in a Cell.
It was just a series of big, giant moments.
Yeah.
It wasn't about matches. They had two actual matches against each other.
And they sucked.
But nobody cared.
Yeah.
Because it was
cared. They sucked.
Right.
But
they didn't need to be a 5-star classic. There was a means to an end in both of those matches.
Yeah. The moments you were just talking about, though, like I didn't bring up Undertaker versus Mankind in Hell in a Cell. I brought up Mankind being thrown off of Hell in a Cell. The moments, not the match. The moments. So
absolutely.
Moments are what I live for. I know not everyone does, and that's
the thing. Twitter doesn't, because Twitter likes to tell you that every match has to be a 5-star classic. It's moments. Thank you. It's moments 100%. And that's what Triple H is giving us, and that's going to stand the test of time. That's what we're talking about. These things that we're seeing are going to stand the test of time.
Yeah. So that's that match. Again, I was underwhelmed. I like Drew's return. I'm very much looking forward to seeing if he actually does the throne gun. I think he will. I think
he's got a really good chance.
But we'll see what happens from there. The match is going to be great.
Doesn't, that's a good catalyst to his heel turn. I think if he does, people are going to look at it as saying, I can't believe they put him in the mid card. Look, they have a brand new world championship, and we already know that the champion's a babyface. We're not going to get that babyface versus babyface match yet. It doesn't make sense.
And Drew can't just come back as a heel. There has to be I hate it when they come back as a heel because it's like, why? And they're like, oh, you guys didn't even care when I was gone. That's stupid. It's played out, and I don't want to see it anymore. Give me a reason why he does it, and that's what I'm looking forward to. From there, man, I don't even want to talk about this match. So I'm going to ask this one question. We got Cody versus Dom. Man, I try to get on top of these banners, and I suck at it.
Is this the one match you were talking about you didn't like?
Yeah. But Cody Rhodes takes on Dominic Mysterio, and why do you think this match happened? That's what I want to know. Why do you think it happened?
Cody Rhodes is the biggest babyface in the company. Dominic Mysterio is the biggest heel in the company outside of, Roman Reigns. Why wouldn't you put that?
I think it was a fan pleasing match. I don't think that because if Dom would have won, it's like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're trying to obviously Brock comes in and screws him, and then Dom elevates himself. I really thought that's where they're going. Brock didn't return, so we all got fooled on that one, and Cody beat him fairly easily. So there was no funny business there, and Cody still gets to look strong. A lot of people were wrong about this one. I really think the idea was we got the guy who gets the best babyface reactions. We got the guy who gets the best heel reactions. Let's put him in this environment in which the crowd is going to be insane, and let's have a moment. I think that's the only reason this match happened. We got Tidey back in the chat. What up, Tidey? You good, bud?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, there was a call I could not ignore.
No, you good. You good. I understand that 100%, man. We are now talking about Cody Rhodes royally screwing Dominic Mysterio Money in the Bank. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but he clearly hit him in the face with brass knuckles. It was a fucking trap. Shut up, Lou. Ooh, I knew this was Lou. Shut up, Lou. I don't want to hear it. He was screwed.
Another deadbeat dad screws Dominic.
Yeah. What is with these deadbeat dads getting one over on him, man? This is bull nonsense. Man, I don't like Cody. I don't like it at all. But I was asking why you think this match happened, Tidey. What do you think? Why do you think they made this match happen?
This is what I was telling. This is what I was telling someone else, because it is the biggest right now cheered babyface we got versus the biggest heel we got. Let's do it, and let's just see. I mean, honestly, and I like Dominic in the ring. He was doing great. I loved all of it. I was happy with all of it. Anyways, that is a great spot. I mean, because you got the biggest baby face, you got the biggest heel right next to Rhea, and you can argue biggest heel. I was telling you earlier, like if it's like the thing with John Cena is that people boo him and people cheer him, and I forget the word they call it.
Divisive.
Whatever figure, it's a polarizing.
Yeah,
Dom is polarizing in a different way. The people that wanted him to really go back to NXT are just F off. Before he became the prison Dom that we love, the Malibu's Most Wanted Dom that we love, that's playing the perfect poser. I freaking love it. People boo him for real, like we still hate you. And then people boo him. It's like, it's okay to love him, to hate him. Like I love to hate him, but I just love him. So I think he is polarizing in a different way that I don't think I've ever really seen before, where there's people that really hate him for being a poser, and there's people that really love to hate him because he's doing a damn good job. I love it. Perfect baby face versus the perfect baby heel.
So we're on agreement here. They made this match just to get the crowd reactions because they knew it was going to be an electric environment.
Heel and baby, just give Dom that credit. Give him his kudos, man. That's a reward. Cody at a PLE, that's a reward. Reward that man. You
Same
put a title on him.
You ain't got to tell me, Lou. You know damn well that's how I feel about the whole nonsense. It's bullshit. You guys really think Cody's a bigger face? I hate to say it, but at this point right now, yes, Cody is clearly a bigger babyface than Sami Zayn. The tag team thing slowed him down. It's fine. I'm okay with it. But yeah, I think Sammy isn't bigger. I think
Not-
Sammy was bigger at one point, 100%, hands down. I'll fight anybody that disagrees with me. But right now, Cody Rhodes is a bigger babyface.
In my heart, Sammy is still bigger. I'm sorry. Cody,
he's better. I'll say that.
Well, if you don't put Sammy in a main event story where he can truly shine, and you put him in a tag division where there's not something there, of course, the people that everybody cheers for and still loves and sings the song to is going to be Cody. So yeah, Cody is a bigger reactional babyface right now.
What up, Tyler?
But no, if you put Sammy in a great main event story, we'd be like, oh, that's right. Sammy is better than anybody.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I'm saying, like, as of right now, as of today, Cody's a bigger babyface. Like, that's literally my only reason for it. I think Sammy's still better, and that's not a knock. I know everyone thinks I hate Cody Rhodes. It's just not true.
Every word to Cody's theme song was sung by every person in the entire building on Saturday. I mean, that's one of those things that's like lightning in a bottle. That's like ECW Sandman status, where it's like a cult following. Man, let me tell you something. Cody is so over, it's not even funny. And look, was Sammy over? Yes. Was Sammy ever as over as Cody? Maybe.
He was. Don't even maybe that. Don't even maybe that, bro.
But Cody has been. I mean,
how
I don't
dare
know.
you?
There's been something about Cody from the day he's come back, though.
Let me ask you one question that'll just completely make that whole thing you just said sound ridiculous. When was the first time Roman Reigns got literally booed during this heel run? When was it?
It was the turn with Sammy, 100%.
Exactly, and that's because Sammy was such a good when Roman beat Cody at WrestleMania. What was the crowd reaction?
Almost dead silence.
No, I'll reiterate this. I was there. A lot of people were happy. A lot of people. It was mixed reaction for sure. A lot of people were happy though. So
I'm not putting up with this shit, Jimmy. Okay, look here, Albert. All right. Look, let me tell you something, man.
Let me talk to you.
It's not about who's over and who's great. Yeah, Cody can speak on the mic. That's what keeps him up there. When he talks, it's fucking excellent. I fucking love it. He's very well. Yeah, I know, Jim. I know. But I'm saying he's so particular with the words to draw you in. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but man, it's so fucking good. I will say this, and this is the greatest point that anyone ever learned from wrestling from Sami Zayn. I don't love you like I love Sammy. And that is the undeniable thing. And it's not that Sammy wears his heart on his sleeve perfectly. I don't even know how to explain it. The man is the perfect human being. He is, and yeah, he's taking a segue right now, and that's letting Cody shine. We saw that earlier when Cody was helping him and KO. Whatever. Sammy's taking that, and he's being the businessman. He's doing what's right for WWE. They want to push Cody, great. But when Cody can make me love him like Sammy made me love him, that's when Cody is the true babyface. Right now, I still say Sammy is, but right now the biggest babyface we're getting is Cody.
I'll say this before I swing it back to you. I will say this. Cody definitely sells more merch. 100%. I can't even argue that. That's a fact. That's a fact, Jack. But I'm looking at, again, we just talking about moments. I'm a big moment guy. And I look at the moment where Roman literally got booed for the first time. That's a crazy thing to think about, that it was Sami Zayn that made it happen. And
I will
just like,
I will donate blood if Sammy got hurt right now. How many people are going to donate blood for Cody? Like, oh, man, he's got a dog. He's good.
I got someone right here.
Everything's good.
This guy, Justin, right here, he would donate. But then again, here's the thing, Lou. Justin ain't even a Cody fan. He a Dusty fan. He a fan of the Cody's daddy. That's all he is. Bring him in here. I'll shut him up too. I'm tired of hearing about that nonsense. But Albert, go ahead. I didn't mean to trip on you. Oof. Sammy was bigger.
It's all right. I'm gonna piss you off even more right now, because
you want to bet? Here we go to the next match. So go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right. So here's my question. We've seen, we're saying that Sammy was completely over, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, and I'm agreeing with you. Now, was it because Sami Zayn, or was it because Sami Zayn was put in the right position for Sami Zayn to flourish, to make everyone believe in him because he had that build? Now, can the argument be made that by WrestleMania 40, that we aren't going to be that fervently in the corner of Cody Rhodes?
No.
Can this be built that can we not make the argument that it's story? Because now remember, a year before Sami Zayn was facing the tribal chief, he was losing to Johnny Knoxville and was stuck in a big giant mousetrap.
Yeah.
Now that's everybody can sit there and say, okay, that's the low of the low. The same low of the low as everybody was saying Cody Rhodes
needs to go through.
Well, Cody Rhodes was Stardust. He already went through it, right? The lowest of the low. He was made to have to drop his family name to play this other character, and he had to leave in order to get there. If Cody goes through a year of being the most over guy to the point where we build him to this point, I think that there's an argument that can be made that by WrestleMania, Cody's going to be getting the same, if not even harder reactions that Sami Zayn was getting during that build. It's because they're both very good, and this is not taking anything away from Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn. I've loved Sami Zayn since before he was actually Sami Zayn, and he was, wrestling, under a mask somewhere. I think
that's not him. That guy's down there taking care of
Jimmy.
Right, no, you're thinking of somebody else. You're thinking about El Generico, who is taking care of orphans in Mexico. Yes, 100%. Yes.
Jimmy,
but I love Sami Zayn, but they have undeniably, him and Cody both have a way of making you feel with them.
I agree.
But I just think that when we get to that point where Cody gets to that point, everybody's going to go, oh damn, okay, I get why they waited a year. I get why they didn't pull the trigger with Sammy.
And I'm glad that they'll finally jump on board with me because I've been trying to get him to join me for fucking months now. Tidey, I'll let you say one more thing before I put him in his place one last time and we move on to the next match.
Okay, if you're going to say it's because he was put in the right story, in the right position with Roman, etc. Okay, he wasn't supposed to make that story flourish the way he did.
No, he was not.
It was his reactions. It is his facial timing. It's his expressions. It's the way that he says something. And his heart is literally lighting up in his eyeballs. It's the way he took that T-shirt. It's everything. It's the way he betrayed Kevin at Limited. I mean, it has nothing to do with just story. It doesn't seem like it was supposed to go this far. It doesn't seem like we were supposed to cry at the Elimination Chamber.
We weren't.
Now, when Cody can pull that shit and put an onion underneath my eyeballs over and over and over and over again, I don't think it's just the story. Now, will Cody have a great story by WrestleMania? Oh, fuck yeah. Triple H is smart. Cody is really fucking smart. I just need to see something a little less than perfect roboticness. I just need to see the fucking human being. But that might be who Cody is for all we know.
Yes, he's just a robot. So
No. I think there's more. I think they're going to draw that shit out. They're going to fucking rinse that sock and get all the water out of that goddamn thing. That sweaty, god fucking robotic motherfucker. They're going to do it. And Cody's going to be great. I just still don't think, I will bet money on it, that he won't make me love like Sammy can. I mean, it's going to be hard to do, but I think Cody will be up there. It will be up their story.
Here's what I'll say about the Cody Sammy thing, and then again we're going to move on to the next match. You brought up that Sammy was put in that position, but then we just talked about Sammy wasn't put in that position to get to where he was. He was put in that position for just a quick little thing, and it ended up becoming something way more. It became something way more because Sami Zayn made us care, and he made everyone behind. He made them all care. Cody Rhodes was put in a position. And they've literally been forcing him into that position ever since. They never had to force Sammy. And I'm not sitting here to say, again, I keep being put in these positions to make it sound like I hate Cody Rhodes. I'm talking shit about him. And it's not the case. I'm very much looking forward to this moment at WrestleMania 40 where he wins that title. And I will join everybody in unison if he doesn't win. And I'm like, this bullshit. You're screwing us over. I'm tired of it. I don't think it happens, though. I think he wins. Sammy made it happen. Cody was given the keys to the kingdom. And that's my whole thing with it. So Cody's good. Cody's very, very good. I think he talks a little too much sometimes, but it is his thing. But at the height of Sammy's popularity as a babyface, I don't think Cody's touched it yet. That's what I think. I don't like international crowds being like the measuring stick because they're excited to see everybody. It's like an AEW crowd. They're just like, yeah! So in the States, I don't think Cody has touched what Sammy was getting there for about like a 2-month period. Even when Roman was gone, those ratings were not dipping, and people were like, Sammy. They're like, oh, like they wanted Sammy. So
I showed my roommate the Cody entrance, and then I showed her when John Cena showed up. It's like, that's what you call a fucking star. When John Cena showed up, that crowd went fucking nutty butters.
So while you're on the subject of John Cena, we won't touch on John Cena because he didn't really do much. He did a thing with Grayson Waller that was fun. He did bring up WrestleMania in UK. Percentage, what do you think the percentage of that happening is?
50%.
Okay. He took the easy road.
yeah, easy to say 50-50. Well, I'm going to say, I'll just say it's going to happen eventually. I think it could be 2 years away. I think John Cena wouldn't come out there and just say that without saying that and not get people, like he said, when those trumpets sound, people listen, and I want them to hear this. Man, you can't get a more passionate plea from the biggest figure in WWE history.
Yeah.
Like literally, if Triple H and all the decision makers weren't listening to that, well, then John Cena kind of put you on the spot, man. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. It's going to happen. John Cena said it.
Albert, what about you?
75%. Okay. I think the only way it doesn't happen, I think that the 25% for me is just that they can't nail down a money deal that someone else is gonna outbid them. Because remember, they were thinking about having a pay-per-view, I think, over in Wembley, not to I think Clash of the Castle,
and they turned it down because Clash had a better deal.
Right, they got paid more for Clash, so they were ready to go to Wembley already. They were ready to do a big event over there. I think that this crowd,
great number,
after hearing them, there's no doubt in my mind WWE can't think to themselves, man, we got to spend a week here. They're going to eat up everything. And remember, it's not just WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania. It's SmackDown. It's
NXT,
Access.
Stand and Deliver.
Right.
Hall of Fame.
They're going to go to every single one of those shows.
The Superstore.
The Superstore. They are going to buy everything. You think there wasn't a Superstore for Money in the Bank? I guarantee there was.
Well, there was.
How much money they probably made?
It wasn't as. Apparently, they made more money at this show than they have. I don't remember the exact thing, but they made a lot.
I think this was the highest grossing show ever.
Yeah. I will say this. 100% it's happening.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
I honestly, I've been on this board because I'm in a group chat with a bunch of friends from over there, and they're like, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. I'm like, dude, I think it's going to happen. Because one, if you've noticed, Triple H has been going overseas a lot. Apparently, they're going to Australia later this year. They're looking to go there. I think it'll probably be 5 years before it even gets announced. But I do think it will happen. I do. It'd be crazy not to, because the money and the environment that crowd is going to give them for WrestleMania was too much to even bat an eye. Like, you have to
give them SummerSlam next year.
Yeah.
I would give them SummerSlam next year. Come on,
I think they've had that. I would give them Royal Rumble in 2024, 25.
Just give me a Royal Rumble locally, close to me, so I can go to another one.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Apparently, I'm getting one like 4 hours away from me this year.
San Jose. Bring it to San Jose. WWE, you bastards.
Yeah, Royal Rumble's
San Jose.
Royal Rumble's a must. You have to do Royal Rumble. It's so fucking fun.
I went to 08, and I was not a John Cena fan back then, so that was not a fun experience for me. So I kind of want to go to one where I have a pretty good experience. And there's nobody, I don't think that, because I'm a completely different wrestling fan now, I don't think there's anybody that could possibly win that would make me like be sneezing mad on my way out. So
Goldberg. But let's move on.
There's one.
We'll move on to the women's Money in the Bank match, where I don't think anybody is mad about this one. We got Io Sky with the briefcase. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for right there. What do we all think of the match? I honestly, no joke, this was my favorite match of the night, as far as if we're taking the Bloodline story out of it. Because I think that's unfair to measure that up against other things. I think this was my favorite match of the night. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, it was a good start. I mean, like, they teamed up immediately against Becky. Very smart. Other girls are teaming up in the ring. Zelina's bomb. Zelina's freaking code red.
Yeah.
From the ladder.
That looked perfect.
The tension of seeing maybe Zelina or Trish win. And then I thought like Trish would be a good story. But then as I'm seeing Io, the possibility and how they cuff together. Oh my God, you got 2 of the 4 horsewomen being stuck in the ladder over the future, which is Io Sky. So I want to say this because I know we got to go soon, but Raquel is now on a rocket ship where she can main event. She is that believable.
Yeah.
She is that badass. Damian Priest, NXT people. Shayna can now be on the main event scene. They're all on their way up. Io, of course. That's 1, 2, 3. Oh, and Waller, because Waller's going to be messing with John Cena. I mean,
And AJ
what
Styles
a way to call
and
the
Charlotte
future.
Flair.
And if people keep saying, like, we're not pushing the future and this ship that started from last year isn't coming around now, it's coming around now. And Io is the better story. I thought if everybody could have a story, man, that could be a great story.
Yeah.
So it was the right call.
Yeah. This is it the chicken? It's not the moonsault chicken. It's the girl who does the moonsault. But I know what you meant. Yeah, that's who Io Sky is, buddy.
Oh, you talking about? Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, he couldn't. He just put it corrected for him. He put chicken. And the girl with the crazy elbow, I'm pretty sure you're talking about Kairi Sane, who was fucking phenomenal. I miss her so much.
Best elbow in the business.
So damn good. But Albert, what about you? What did you think about this match?
Zelina Vega showed the F out. Oh my God, dude. Did she ever impress me? I loved seeing that. I love seeing Zoe Stark being the one who was ballsy enough to be taking that move too. You know, big props.
Zoe's a champ. Zoe is a champ.
She is. She is a hard worker. I respect her work ethic. She's ridiculous. Every woman in this match brought it. They all had a good spot. They all had something fun that they did. They all did something that, was unexpected. I love that. Even with the division in between Damage Control, even still, after the whole thing was over, Bayley, who, by the way, I love that Bayley still had her handcuff attached during the press conference. Love that little thing. She's so good at being so subtly awesome. She impresses me at every turn. Her still celebrating with Io. Them still telling that story. There's so much to build. And come on, Io Sky versus Asuka for the women's championship. Just inject that into my veins. Everything about this was just absolutely perfect. I love this match. I don't blame you for saying I think it was better than the men's match.
It was. It was definitely cleaner than the men's match for sure.
And the storytelling was better.
Yeah, and it didn't rely on just spots.
Right. The whole thing told the story. That whole match, and I love that. It's a ladder match that shouldn't tell a story. It should be a spot fest, but it was so much better because it told a story.
Yeah.
Again, one of the most creative endings I've ever seen in a ladder match too. Genius.
Genius
did the same thing.
Makes sense.
The best babyface in the world, Sami Zayn, did some cuffs and
I was thinking about that.
I was literally just about to say that was the second best ladder match ending I've ever seen, next to Sami Zayn when he handcuffed
Jeff Hardy's ear.
Oh man, that still makes me cringe thinking about it. It's so bad, but I love it.
I loved it. The greatest thing.
I will say I'm so bummed Io didn't. Not Io. Zoe. I'm not mad that Io won, but I really thought that Zoe Stark, they had a chance to help the Raw Women's Division by putting it on Zoe Stark. Because
I think it's the right choice.
She could have screwed over Trish, showed up tomorrow Monday Night Raw. Thank you, Trish. And just that's it. And then Zoe Stark is now a legitimate threat to you. Because there's the women's division on Raw is just not that great. And I'm not saying that the talent isn't there. I'm just saying that the names have not been built up for Rhea. And that's why Rhea doesn't have that many matches. Because there's not enough big names to make it a believable program.
Oh my God.
Zoe Stark would have helped tremendously.
SmackDown. The Rock man, Charlotte.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying now. I hate it.
Fighting. You got Shayna. You got so much going on SmackDown. I wish
on Raw. On Raw, you have Becky and you have Trish, and Trish is on her way out. So it's like, and then Raquel, I think, but she's in the tag division. So
Raquel can beat any one of these women I just said. Raquel is that good, and that's how proud I am of her because she was doing Shayna's bit after Shayna left. Raquel's that good, so I'm proud of that. She's got a spot. But again, Raw, you're right. We need something on Raw.
I know she just got there. Lou. But my whole thing is like, I think she's good enough to get in there and go to war with some of these chicks. She's really talented in the ring, and she doesn't have the mic skills or the character work to kind of carry her. But if you put the briefcase on her, all of a sudden she has a real big crutch she can lean on, and she doesn't need to be best on the mic at that point.
Zoe's the real deal. I've watched every single NXT. She never had a bad NXT.
You muted yourself there, Albert.
So I think the crutch that she's leaning on right now is Trish Stratus.
And then Trish is going to be gone though soon. So if Zoe,
but I think Zoe's going to turn on her and kick her out. I think Trish goes out as a babyface. So I think that's the inevitable story they're going to tell. So she has that going. So that's why I didn't think she needed the briefcase, because she's going to eventually get a win over the perennial biggest quote unquote babyface women's champion we've ever had in WWE in Trish Stratus. I think that she has that, so she didn't need the Money in the Bank. I think Io needed a little bit more to split her from Damage Control and make her more of a single star.
Here's where I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I actually disagree with that notion, because Io has already had interactions with Asuka. They're already leading to that. So when Io has the briefcase now, it's kind of just like she's just going to tease her. And it's kind of the same shit we always get, where it's like, oh, so.
What do you mean? This is the first time the women hasn't cashed in like the first night in like 17 years.
I'm not talking about the women. I'm talking about the briefcase.
I know. I just want to know
what I mean. But I'm just saying, like, Io didn't need it now that I'm thinking about it. I'm cool with her winning because I love Io. I've loved her since the first time I watched it. She's fantastic.
I think it's the same thing as Priest. I think that we see them on that level as being a main eventer, but this solidifies it. I think that's what they needed. They needed to solidify her. I think that Zoe's going to get there with Trish.
When do we think Io cashes in?
I think it's going to be a while. I think her and Bayley break up. I think that they go through that whole thing. I think that Io, then finally after, she overcomes Bayley, then she goes after the title and she winds up winning. I think Io cashes in a match. I don't think she does the run in and everything. I think she does a straight up one-on-one. I want Asuka. I want the title. Boom.
I think because Jimmy, it's a better story. Unfortunately, I think it's a better call to elevate Zoe in a sense. But because of the better story, Bayley still needs to get out of the rut that everybody keeps calling her in a rut. She needs to have those great matches again. The thing is, she's held on the Damage Control to her own poison, to her own detriment, and that's what they're building towards. And she's part of the problem. She's not treating them correctly. And Dakota's out. So when Dakota comes back, they probably know when she's coming back. It's just a better story of Io and Bayley and watching Bayley actually get back to Bayley form. Because I'll never forget the Thunderdome.
This is a fact.
I'll never forget her.
It's not that's a fact.
And Io itself, I mean, her being in the story of watching Bayley eventually get back to being in Bayley status is a better story. And her being involved with that has a lot of legs. So I just think it was the better story call.
Okay.
But I was with you. You remember I said it. I wanted Escobar and Zoe. I wanted Zoe and Escobar.
Yeah, we literally both had the same people that we wanted. I'll say this one last thing about Io. I think she cashes in during that triple threat that's obviously going to happen between Charlotte, Bianca, and Asuka. Because how could you possibly make Io look like an even bigger star with that briefcase? You have her go in there and beat those three on a cash-in. I think that's a really cool moment. I think that's what happens. And then she can literally have her feud with Asuka afterwards. We still get Io and Asuka, which will be great. And then that's when the Bayley thing happens and she turns on Io.
Dude, that's going to be a huge fucking story. Like, I'm sold. I want that. Put that shit in writing.
Call your buddy Triple H and tell him to give me a damn application already, buddy.
I'm calling him right now.
Do you want to know what I don't like about you? I fantasy book shit in my head, and I'm like, this is going to be perfect. And then you do it, and I'm like, nah, his is better.
He listens to it and says, no, we suck. And they do no, they don't suck. WWE does a good job. I'm not that guy that's going to pat my own back. I do like to hear I was right for sure.
Well, at least three out of the four big predictions you've come up with have actually happened this year.
WWE, I love it when WWE proves me wrong. Let's put it that way. I love it when they prove me wrong. But with that, I enjoyed the match. I look forward to seeing what they do with it. It is cool that we didn't get a cash in the same night. They've learned their lesson. They're saying we'll wait till next PLE. We'll wait a month. So.
At least wait a month.
So now for the final match. Oh, I didn't even make a banner for it, but y'all know what the deal is. We got the new World Heavyweight Championship title being defended by our champion, Seth freaking Rollins, as he takes on Finn Balor 7 years after their first, I think that was the first match they ever had against each other, in which Seth screwed him over. And the video package they made for Finn Balor to explain why he is so bitter and why he's there to take, that might be one of the best video packages they've ever made. It was fantastic. But I know that Albert here is a huge Finn Balor fan. I will let him go first. What were your thoughts on this match?
There was this much of a chance going in the night of that I thought that Finn Balor had of winning the championship. I really thought it was going to be a really very slim chance. Then
How long did you think he was going to hold it? Like 2 seconds?
God damn it. So I was like, there's a slim chance. But then Damian Priest won the damn Money in the Bank. And I went, oh, what if Balor wins tonight? Because that's a great story. If Balor
and they redo the exact
maybe. But if Balor wins the title and Priest holds the briefcase, that's a great story right there. And I went, what if they're going to do it? What if they pull the trigger? What if they give me everything that, and me as a fan, I know nobody else really wanted to see this, but I'm such a big Finn Balor mark. I'm like, what if they give me what I want and Finn Balor wins the title and Finn Balor's the world champion and they want to make this look like a workhorse championship, so they're going to make it change hands a little bit more. I justified the whole thing in my head the whole way through. When Priest came out, I went, oh, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. They're going to pull the trigger. Balor's going to do it. And then the second that Priest stood up, I went, oh, there it goes. Because I knew it was the call right back to Raw that Balor cost Priest that match against Rollins. The second he got up, I went, oh, no. And then when Rollins won, I was just so, heartbroken because and it's not WWE. I'm not going to be that fan that, goes on Twitter and complains, WWE is the worst. They broke my heart. They did. I bought into it. Hook, line, and sinker. Good on them. They got me. Great match. Balor and Rollins always, and this was physical. It was intense. It wasn't like the back and forth match that we thought they were going to have. This was intense. There was a blood feud. It showed everything about this was great. The storytelling was great. The way that it pushes Damian Priest into the story even more now is great. I mean, I loved everything about this match.
I thought it was their best match that they've had.
Yeah, I agree.
I did think that. And I'm saying with you, when Priest came out, I was like, they are really going to have Finn win. And then Priest is going to immediately take it from him. I literally thought they were about to do that. I was like, this is kind of like, they're not, especially when you look at everything else that happened throughout the night. We saw Shayna just turn on Ronda with no build up to it. Like, uh-oh. And then we saw John Cena showed up. Drew returned. I was like, dude, this night is full of craziness. We might actually see this. And it didn't happen. I was like, damn, that sucks. But I'm not mad. I think we get a rematch between Seth and Finn.
I hope so.
At SummerSlam. I think that's where they go with it, because I can't think of who else Seth is going to go at SummerSlam right now. And it helps this. And there's more meat on this bone for sure. So I'm not mad at that at all.
I was actually thinking that maybe it's a triple threat.
I don't like that one.
I don't like the idea either, but I think that seems like a WWE thing to do. Well,
how about this? We make Damian Priest a special guest referee while he's holding the briefcase.
I'd be okay if they make it like a fatal four-way.
That should be hilarious.
A idea.
Bro, hilarious. He's gonna put both of them in the outsider's edge, stack them, and count them out himself, bro. Triple H, give me the damn application already, bro. What are we waiting for here? Tidey, what about you? We're gonna get away from that. What about you, Tidey? What do you think about this match?
I really like the match. I again, emotionally, I fell in love with Finn Balor when he joined Judgment Day and he had that one speech. I'm trying to think of who he was talking to towards AJ Styles. I'm like, now I love you. I always liked him. But ain't great in the world of Tidey, okay? I like a lot of people. People are okay. I gotta like them. Can't hate them all, right? But when he did that, I was like, man, now I love this guy. Man, he is really doing this shit right. It was a good moment. I thought it was built right. Not that I thought he was going to win, but man, just to see him lose by that dirty motherfucker that I love, Damian Priest, his other brother, from another mother, that motherfucker. So I like that shit. Fuck, he stood up and did that shit. And I'm like, no, fuck no. Because it looked like,
what are you doing?
And they made it to the point where Finn could have possibly won. It just, not that I think that Seth was going to lose or whatever it is. It's just, I just don't want to see Finn get done dirty. But what I like about it is just the ending. The ending is, I know there's shit to go on with him and Damian and Judgment Day and JD McDonough that Finn was talking to, that Finn was scouting that one night. And I showed y'all the picture of that.
Yeah,
there's something to go on with that. And I just really hope, because Finn's done such a good job being that dude on the Judgment Day, I really hope Finn gets something out of this in the long run. Because yeah, I got to the point where I love me some Finn Balor.
Yeah.
I don't love anybody more than I love JD McDonough and John Cena. And there's a couple others. Okay, I get it.
Sheamus,
But whatever.
Bobby Lashley, Charlotte
But
Flair.
this is also a great segue for JD. What's he gonna do when they come in? That
I'm
makes
very
it very interesting.
How JD
Think of the story.
Yeah.
You got a faction separating. You got another faction fighting each other. You got Bailey and Io doing the same story that's kind of going on with JD and Damian right now. Damian and Finn. You got Bailey, you got Io. You got two people possibly turning on each other with this Money in the Bank, throwing some shit into the wires. So kind of interesting that they're both kind of doing the same story in a different way.
I'll do this real quick. Since I've been praised for my fantasy booking tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and give you two right here. JD McDonough. I think obviously there's dissension. Finn's been talking to JD McDonough. I think Finn is going to go into this dissension meeting with the idea that he already has backup with JD McDonough, and he's going to be like, we're going to kick Damian Priest out. But then it's going to turn on him when JD McDonough's like, no, I'm already with these guys. And Finn's going to be the one that gets ousted from Judgment Day. That's how I think it's going to get played out. I think it's interesting. But there's other ways they could go about it. I think it'd be fun. But
it's ironic. That's what they did the Edge.
Yeah, exactly. It's what they did the Edge, and they did it for Finn Balor. So to do it for JD McDonough to Finn Balor, it's kind of a nice little circle they got going. Kind of a throwback to the Bullet Club. Who started that? Albert, can you refresh my memory?
I think that was Finn Balor. There's
Finn Balor. Okay.
So, Prince Devitt. I think that he wrestles under the name of Finn Balor now.
Yeah. He used to be a Prince. Now he is a Finn. So, and now fantasy booking number 2. I tell you what would have made last night the match between Seth and Finn even better is when Damian Priest, if he stood up, because Finn was on the top rope. If when Damian Priest stood up, that top rope buckled again like it did when he against Roman, and then Finn fell, and then we found out that this whole time that Damian Priest was behind the whole thing.
That would have been cool.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. But yeah,
So I think that there's also the other thing is there, like you said, maybe there is the chance that Priest gets ousted and McDonough, joins in. And I have this sneaking suspicion that JD McDonough and Finn Balor are going to end up being the guys that beat Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the tag titles. I don't know why. I just have that feeling that's going to be the team that takes the belts off them. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But I think that's the plan down the line. I don't know why, but I just have that feeling. Because Judgment Day, remember, they built that whole thing where Judgment Day beat them as tag champs, right? Now they're have dissension between Priest and Balor. Dom wasn't the one who was in that match, right?
Exactly. So, that's why I don't think that would happen.
So, but that's just where I just have a feeling that's where it's going.
I mean, I can see it happening for sure. We're just gonna screw Dom out of everything. Is that what we're doing here? We're trying to be going to be tag champs anymore. Oh my!
No. Because my thought process is that Dom stays no matter what, and they freebird the hell out of that. And Dom defends sometimes, and they claim that Dom's the champion just as much as everybody else. Dom will defend, and Finn will defend, and JD will defend. And I think that's inevitably how they break up. I think that Finn's not involved. JD, maybe JD loses the match, and that's how Finn's like, that's it. You lost the tag titles for us. You're out. And that starts there.
That's very similar to what I thought was happening in Money in the Bank, because I thought for sure Dom was going to beat Cody. Damian Priest wins the Money in the Bank, and then Finn loses. So then on Monday, they're like, bro, we're pulling our weight. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's how he gets kicked out. That's what I thought was going to happen, but it's not happening, and it's all good because I hate Cody Rhodes right now. But anyway, any more on this match? I don't have anything else. It was a good match, and we've got a lot of story that's going to come out of it. We don't know where they're going with things, so that's cool. I'm very excited. Man, they just continue to knock it out of the park. They are on a hot streak. I got to give it to them. They are on a hot streak. I literally cannot remember the last PLE I did not like.
I was just about to say, what was the last lackluster PLE? I mean, we're going back to WrestleMania, the year before, and when Vince was still heavily involved and people
Backlash after 38, maybe.
I don't even remember. The fact that I can't remember shows that they're killing it. As bad as their weekly television was under Vince at points, their PLE game has been on fire.
Question, I want to ask this real quick because we're way over time, but anyway, I have a theory as to why they've been so good, and it's because they've dedicated weekly television to building things up and not focusing so much on matches. And then at the PLE, they just let everything go. So we're not getting the same shit over week after week after week. And then we get the PLE, we're like, okay, this is what we've been building up to. And then it's a reward because it pays off. And then they get back to the TV show and it's back to just, let's build it up. Let's build it up. Let's build it up. And then boom, it all blows up. I think that's what they're doing. I don't know if anyone else sees this, but I think that's why it's been so successful. And I love it.
I think AEW suffers from having too many really good TV matches, because then it makes their pay-per-view matches have to be exponentially better than those TV matches. And sometimes that's hard to cap.
And you guys drop Kenny Omega on his head to make it seem cool. No, I'm just joking, everybody. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. To throw that in there. Y'all know I love AEW, man. I'm just joking, man.
Same. I absolutely do.
I got the AEW figures too right here in my hand next to me. He's sitting right next to me. I love it so much. But anyways, so that's the show. Glad to be back on Sunday. This was fun. I had a lot of fun. Glad to have you back too, Tidey. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
But before we go, Albert, you want to plug something? Let them know what's up. I know you got something to tell them.
Oh, I do, because there's a new video up on the channel as of this recording, as of today.
Go watch it, everybody.
Yep, there's a complete. We want to talk about AEW toys. You can see my entire AEW collection, my toy room tour, up on YouTube.com at Slam Sessions Network. So
it rivals Matt Cardona's, everybody. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But yeah, y'all go check that out, Slam Sessions, for sure. He's told you he's making some content. Now he's delivering it, so go watch it. Tidey, what about you? You guys anything you want to say before we bounce up out of here?
At least wrestling related. JD McDonough, in this position that he is in, whether he is tagging with Finn, which I agree with, give him the shine, give him the Irish shine, give him Finn Balor shine, let him tag with him. And by this time next year, people will say, holy shit, JD McDonough is that good. He's got the character work down. He's got the wrestling down times anybody. Like, I don't know anybody better than him, in my opinion. But that character is stone cold, and he's got it right. So this time next year, people will more than know his name. And I couldn't be happier right now as a wrestling fan that my favorite is doing big things.
Bro.
And it's about to.
I did not even think about this until just now. JD McDonough. JD, Judgment Day. What the heck is going on?
Right.
Crazy.
I tweeted that a while ago. Yeah, of course they're going to pick JD because they got the tattoos, and that was they were tweeting. They had the tattoo that said JD, and I was like, oh, that was when the rumors came out. Yeah, they're going to pick JD McDonough.
That's why.
And that's why he stopped calling himself Jordan Devlin. It was JD McDonough.
That's how stupid I am sometimes, everybody. I just don't see shit. I don't even notice it. I'm too invested in everything else. But anyway, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll move out of here. Next Sunday, we'll be back. I think we'll have a lot to talk about because I don't even think we got to wrap our head around everything we wanted to tonight, but we went overboard, so you just have to deal with it. We will be back next Sunday night, though, so make sure you tune in for that. Sorry, no Raw recaps. For those who are just now finding that out, I'm taking a break from it over the summer. We got some family business. That's far more important at this point. So no Raw recaps. They will return, though. They definitely will return. And hopefully when they return, maybe the Dynamite recaps will return on this channel as well.
I think maybe you want to stick with Collision. It's a better show, in my opinion.
Oh, man. Don't even get me started. That's the best.
Collision might be my new favorite wrestling show. I love it. I
almost went the entire show without reminding me how awesome Collision is. I'm not going to go into it, though. I'm not going. I'm going to stop myself. But this week on Collision, we get Samoa Joe versus CM Punk.
Cannot wait for that. Inject it into my veins.
I'm losing my mind already over it. It's going to be. Wrestling is awesome right now. If you watch wrestling, you don't think it's awesome right now, man, there is something wrong with you. You're either stupid, you're dumb, you're a moron, or you're an idiot, you're all the above. How about them apples? It's so good right now. So don't forget, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with everybody. Thank you. Thank you for I always appreciate the love. But please, anybody and everybody that is watching, don't forget to just enjoy wrestling. That's why we're here. That's what I'm about. That's what we're all here about. And I hope that's what y'all are about too. Just enjoy wrestling.